Hey everybody, Wolfie here. Taking advantage of a really crappy rainy day. Um, Sorry I kind of look like hell today, but it's been a rough morning, tired day. But I decided I'm gonna take advantage of the crappy day and doing my spring cook stove maintenance. Um, Getting my these old cast iron stoves require a lot of long-term proper care. I'm not holding my camera very steady either, sorry. But we've got I've got it partially done here. I've been working away at it for a while. Figured I'd share this with people for anyone that may have one of these old stoves and want to get it all cleaned up nice and looking pretty. So I'm going to start with some of the basics here. A lot of it is pretty simple cleaning, like clean the grease off the stuff, but these tops, everything that touches them burns to it and burns right into the metal. So there's a few tricks here for um getting it all cleaned back up and looking nice. So I'm going to switch the camera around here and get it set on the tripod and show you what I'm working on. Okay, so I've already done my outer edge. This has that nice chrome, like stainless steel edge to it. And I've got it cleaned up fairly well, best I can. Some of the spots are a little bit of a lost cause here. Right on the corner here, if you can make out this black mark that's in here, kind of hard. There we go. You can see it perfect here. That's never going to come out. That's pocked right into the metal. And I've got it shined up pretty good around the outside. And you'll notice the top here. This isn't the typical rubbing the cooking oil into it kind of thing. You can see the difference between this side and this side. So we're gonna get the stuff here and I'll show you what I'm using. Okay, so got this basic stuff. I'm going to have to pause the video for just a moment and turn the light off on the camera. It's causing more of a problem than not. Okay, not that much of a help. I'll have to turn the light back on for recording. This stuff, if you can make it out, it's a stove polish. The old school name for it is stove black. And it's a very thick black goo. I also have scrub pad, pretty coarse, heavy one. And these things, they used to be pot scrubbers. A good coarse pot scrubber. This is what I use for putting the actual stove polish on, because they're a high heat, like they will melt. You can't just leave them laying on the stove. It's plastic handles and base. But yeah, I guess having the light off on this kind of screws up recording, so we'll switch it back here in a second. Okay, that's better. Can't read the container, but now you can see the stuff inside it. It's a very thick, grainy polish. And I'll get the camera set up here and we'll show you how this junk works. There we go. one of my little scrubbies and just get some of the polish on it. These actually are great because they fit nice right into the container. And yet you just on you go. Don't keep your scrubby, if you use this type of scrubby, don't keep it on the surface of the metal for too long at a time. I'd honestly recommend something a little more suitable for it. I'm sure the products are out there. But you just spread the stuff out, grind it into the metal. This helps preserve your metal, helps clean the metal right through nice and thick. And for those of you like me who like to make toast and stuff right on the surface of the stove, you can't do that for a while after this. You can actually see the model number and everything now showing up on the back. What I tend to do before I start putting the polish on is that's where the big heavy coarse scrub pad here, this thing comes in. Give the whole surface of your stove a light scrubbing. It takes off all the built up grease. We're going to use it again in a moment here after the stove polish gets soaked in. Things like the enamel back plate, that needs a very serious cleaning. The stove polish will actually work really awesome for that as well, because it'll dig right into the grease and stuff that's built up on it. Okay, this thing's getting a little too warm, so we'll switch to the other scrubber. I always have two of them handy. And I'll show you this here. Can that be? No, that can't really be seen on the camera. This spot right here, the side rail for the back piece. As you can probably make out, it's supposed to be the polished. Ooh, that's not good. Now I gotta get behind here. It's supposed to be the polished chrome type look too. A bit more stove polish. Get it on here. Give the metal a nice coating of black, hence the name stove black. We're working little circles. Okay. Now we're gonna, while that sits there for a few minutes, we're gonna get back to the main surface of the stove. We take the coarse scrubby. Nothing too much, don't put pressure on it. Because it's a fairly coarse scrubber. Gets all the excess crap out from along the edges. is always a big problem when around the plates and stuff. Now this area that I'm working on close to the camera here, this is where originally there would have been a water tank mounted on here. And kind of wish I had the water tank for it. It would be on here for sure. And put a little more pressure on as you get going. And you take your little your scrubby with your stove polish. Go back over it again. You end up with nice, beautiful, clean metal. Now, we do the same over here. We take the small scrubby, make sure that's back on camera. Take the small scrubby, start working away. Got some pressure on here. Not sure how well this is going to clean up over here, this end piece. Now, towels. This stuff, by the way, is a pain in the butt to wash off your hands afterwards, so I recommend you wear gloves. Oh, yeah, there's some serious grime buildup on that. We'll take our coarse scrubber. I really should have took these utensils off. Now, don't use too coarse of scrubby on this, or you do risk gouging your metal. Which is why I'm not putting a whole lot of pressure on, because this is a pretty coarse, heavy-duty scrubber. And like I said, I'm not really expecting this part to come super shiny. I have a feeling it got neglected a lot over the years. The stove's 3 years shy of being 100 years old. I'd like it if it lasted another 100. There's an example of how it turns out. Still got a little bit of cleaning and scrubbing to do on it. Nice shiny silver. And the stuff I put on the top here. As you can see, the two sides of the stove are kind of looking alike now. But this stuff does burn in and soak right into the metal. Trying to get a bit more on the scrubby here. And you do want your stove going when you're doing this, just to help, because it'll expand the metal. And yeah, this end piece, and I still have to do the one at that end, should come out nice and shiny chrome finish, like stainless steel finish, just like this. You can see where I've started to do this end just while I was working on the rest of it. I've got to do my handle. Downside to these stoves is the fact that they do grab a hold of every bit of grease. All the smoke and everything all builds up, and you got to do this quite often. I do it twice a year. Do it early to mid fall, and then I do it again in the spring. And it should honestly be done a little more often with how much use the stove gets, but I've got so much on the go, this is the best I can do. So, but yeah, there's what you need. You need paper towels, nice fine scrubby, a bit coarser scrubby, something meant for doing metal, not just a pot scrubber, and a small jar of stove polish. And it says restores and protects stove finishes. It's water soluble, low odor, and of course black. And you can get it in a, so it has a brown color to it as well. And I do believe it comes in white polish. The white polish would be perfect for doing stuff like this, the enamel surfaces. I think the white would be the best for that, but the black does do the job. It also working on these lighter surfaces, it makes it very easy to see where you're working, type thing. Like, it's obviously going to stand out pretty good on it. So I've got to get back to work here, get all this done as much as I can anyway. And I guess that's about it. There's, like I said, you've got your different scrubbies that you need for it, for applying it. You want your stove going, not drastically, but going so the metal's warm. And wear some gloves, or you end up with hands like this. And yeah, make sure you've got things like your pans that you cook with away from the metal. I've got my kettle on because, well, let's face it, coffee. Gotta have coffee. So I'm gonna, my main goal right now is to get this whole top panel, like, surface done. And that's about it for today. I'm gonna work away at it as I can. I want to get my handle cleaned up today so it looks better. Okay. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone. I hope this helps some people with some stove maintenance and care. And we'll talk to you all very soon. Thanks a lot for watching.